Welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I'm going to be answering questions on here today, as I've been doing on quite a lot of OCD Instagrams, because I'm going to be doing more focused topics as well, but because I'm on here every day at the moment, or I'm trying to do every day, but I'm not always on here every day. We're going to do questions and answers today. So any questions you want to ask about OCD, let me know on here, message them along the bottom and I will cover those. I'm sorry if it's a little bit noisy in the background today. There's a drainage company downstairs in the building where I live, and they're doing something which is a bit noisy. So hopefully you can still hear me fine. So yeah, any questions you want to ask on OCD, send them across here at the bottom and I will cover those. Absolutely anything at all about OCD that you're concerned about. On this account, unlike a lot of accounts, it's not sort of very light, and we don't go into any depth on things. You can say anything. You can say, I've got a fear that I stabbed someone 10 years ago. I've got a fear that I'm having this sexual harm thought and it's this. You know, you can ask that. That's what this account's all about. Reality, real problems of OCD spoken about. Because for far too long when I was stuck, couldn't find things specifically talking about what I was concerned about. So I always used to feel very alone, very stuck, very different, like some of my thoughts were OCD but not the other ones, and so on. And that's what it's all about. You know, when I built OCD Recovery, I did it for the main intention, thinking of myself when I was 16 years old. And I was sitting in my bedroom thinking, not 16, 17 years old, and I was thinking, fuck, I'm stuck, something's happened to my brain and I don't know where to turn. And it's for that. It's for all those people like yourselves, they're stuck feeling, how am I going to get out of this? This is the worst thing ever. This is, how could I have this? How can I be thinking this? I couldn't think anything worse, and stuck and not knowing where to go. Therapist to therapist, still feeling stuck. And that's what this is all about. This is how this has all come about. Because of that, wanting to make that change. Because for far too long, OCD has been a disorder where people have felt stuck and not got help, and so few people understand it, so few people understand it, that people stay stuck. And that is very sad. And that is why this account is here, because it's designed to help people not be stuck, so that they can enjoy their lives, and they can enjoy their lives with anxiety too, and still live their life and do what they want to do. And that's what it's all about, whilst having fun. You know, all on my posts on the accounts and the comments, or any of the groups that I run, the WhatsApp groups, the Facebook groups, it's about having fun. It's about being real. You know, too much is very rigid and very, no one shares what they're feeling. I share what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, how I suffered, exactly that. I want people to not feel alone. It's all about that, not feeling alone. And it's all about, you know, having fun, having a laugh. In the WhatsApp groups, people are having a laugh all day and making jokes and all the time, you know. That's what it's like, and that's fun, because with OCD it's so damn serious, and people stay so stuck and serious and in on themselves and beating themselves up. We want to have fun, because at the end of the day, we're on a rock floating through outer space, just existing on this rock, and there's nothing else to do but have, as Albert Ellis says, a ball. That's the main purpose of our life, just to exist. We're human beings, as in the name, human being. But apart from that, then the next thing is just to have fun, to enjoy ourselves. And we want to be doing that. When we've got OCD and we're suffering and we can't do that so much, we've got to make adaptation. We've got to adapt so we can learn to still have a laugh whilst we're suffering. Even on some of my worst days, if I could, like I said yesterday, have all my anxiety symptoms back, all the worst ones I experienced, I'm sure today I could still go out and do things and still get some great things done, even feeling like shit. And that is the way to approach it, is to still have a laugh and still have fun as best we can, bringing it for the ride, as we're learning the tools to get under the anxiety and get rid of that, the chronic anxiety, not anxiety because we need it to save our life, but at the same time remembering we can still do so much. We can still live and do so many things, even when we are chronically anxious, and that's a really important point. Right, now let's have a look at some of these questions that have been coming in. Let's hold this a bit closer. Actually, I've got my glasses here, so I will be able to see. Give me 1 second. Okay, its glasses are a bit bent. Okay, let's have a look. I have hypochondria. I'm in meds. Okay, that's not a question there. Give some example of magical thinking and how we can spot that. What can we do? Well, with all those kind of thinkings, they tend to be things like, if I think this, that plane will crash. If I think this about my dad, then this will happen to him, or then he died because I thought this. Or if I think this, this will give me this disease, or any of those kind of forms of thinking. That's very much the case. What can we do? It's learning to do those things, to say things like, I hope my dad dies of cancer tomorrow afternoon, and it's because I thought this and I said it out loud. Exposures like that. Now, in the past, I wouldn't have even been able to say those things. If I saw a plane go by and go, I hope, please, please, please let that plane crash and everyone die. I hope that my dad has a horrible heart attack and dies tomorrow. And really doing that I couldn't even imagine it, because that would have been very scary. But that's very, very lightly in terms of what to do and understanding it. I'm just covering these as sort of quick fire questions. There's a lot more into it than that by far, because then there will be, but I can't do that, what if that makes me a bad person, what if that actually happens, and so on. So we need the deeper level of acceptance and understanding to get under that too. Can OCD intrusive thoughts manifest in dreams? Yes, dreams are a very common place for OCD thoughts to be. I often used to wake up thinking I had killed or tortured someone in a dream because I was having chronic nightmares, and then feeling it was real and I should have thought differently or done something differently. My intrusive thoughts always get into my dreams. It's because you're thinking about it so much. Absolutely. Got any advice of how to accept I have OCD? Well, you have OCD, and there's nothing that you can do in your mind to change that. But you don't need to suffer. It doesn't mean you've got chronic suffering, because it's a disorder you can recover from. But you do have OCD, and it's making peace with that and seeing and looking. But we need to look at the reasons why you hate having OCD and breaking that down. Good thing to often do is comparisons to other diseases that we could actually have, and seeing how this actually isn't anywhere near as scary as. Well, no, then I'm going to get 1,000 comments from people say, how can you compare OCD to something else? Mine's so bad and so on. I understand that, but I'm saying if you were 4 years old and you've got cancer and you're having chemo, you haven't even lived. So technically that is not great. So comparing yourself to those kind of situations puts things in perspective very much. Someone posted, don't argue logic with your amygdala, you will lose. Doesn't this go against RABT? This is a common question. To answer that, this is where the problem lies. It's not rationalising, so you're not doing this. Oh, well, let me check I haven't got HIV. Well, I slept with that person, I know they haven't got HIV. Let me look at the odds. That's rationalising, trying to work it out. Getting under the fear through rational thinking is, even if I had HIV, that wouldn't be the end of the world. Why? These reasons. Disputing the irrational belief. Accepting, learning to accept and make peace with HIV. That's a difference. You're getting under it. Rationalising is where you're trying to work it all out to disprove it. So it's the opposite there. But you have to draw a line. You don't want to be trying to battle off, and this is where we get in with the uncertainty and changing our relationship with OCD and anxiety. You don't want to be trying to battle off constantly all the OCD and anxiety, because if you're trying to do that, if you're trying to constantly battle it off and hammer down unconditional self-acceptance so that it's rigidly locked down, then that does the opposite. So it's striking a balance. It's about the balance there that we need to get. Bit personal, but I struggle with sexually intrusive thoughts. I was just wondering, is it normal for my sex life to be up and down? For example, sometimes I want to have sex, sometimes I don't. Yes, it affects sex. It affects sex the same as it affects sleep. So it's going to do that. So it's very much the case with that. So it's about accepting that, still having sex the best you can, and sometimes you're going to feel turned on, sometimes you're not. And as you get better, then it will lift. Is it normal for intrusive thoughts to increase when medications are increased for the first couple of weeks? Yes, the first couple of weeks, anxiety and intrusive thoughts usually increase before they come down. I'm so afraid of change. I know I started therapy, but I'm so afraid that I'll find out that anything about my life is wrong now. Well, it's about changing your perception of the wrong. That's what needs to be looked at. Why does no one talk about our OCD? They do talk about our OCD. I spend most of my day talking about our OCD in the groups and on this Instagram page. I'm not doing an ROCD topic today because I cover it quite a lot, but I'm going to do that in another one, specific one. Rob, I have periods of rumination and depression, which I think results from the constant rumination. How do we get over these periods by not trying to get out? Well, the rumination is going to be automatic a lot of the time in your head till the fears come down. So you're going to experience that for the moment. Depression about being anxious, well, it's about seeing, again, changing your perspective of other things that you could have, how great life is, the things you've got to be grateful for, all different things like that. And that helps to lift the depression, because depression comes in because of obviously there's a genetic component, but the majority of it is beliefs that the catalyst to it. And that will be things like how your perspective of it. So working to change that, looking at other things, looking at how grateful things that you've got going that are good, looking at other things that you could have had, so that you really change your perspective of it. You know, it's about really putting yourself in that perspective, because it's so easy to quickly focus in on our problems and not take a look at the bigger picture. I want to change so much, but each time I try to go back to my old ways, feeling stuck, as you say, feel so weak and angry with myself for not having the strength to fight. Well, you do have the strength to fight. It's just because it's become a habit of the reverse. So we just need to build up the habit of the strength, and then you'll see you've got it. You've got it in you. If you've got a human brain, you can find it, and you have done, because I've seen you do it. So it's just a case of practicing that. So it's small and building up and doing that. I feel like our OCD is the most talked about. Yeah, our OCD is covered a lot, as I just mentioned here, but it's one of the most common ones. So POCD is probably one of the most common ones too. So with magical thinking HOCD, when the feeling comes up and it makes me want to say I'm gay, should I say yes I'm gay as an exposure? We've got to look at where it wants you to say that, why you're scared of saying it, and look at the meaning behind that. My country doesn't have OCD therapists or behaviour therapists. A good place to start is joining the free Facebook group that I run, OCD Recovery Group. That's a good place to get started. All the coaching, one-to-one coaching and group coaching I run via Skype, so wherever you are in the world can reach you. Got a lot of questions today. Does lack of sleep intensify intrusive thoughts and rumination? Yes, does. When you're feeling really fatigued from lack of sleep, it does make you feel worse. That's why when sleep improves, it helps with anxiety. But if we chase the sleep, try to constantly chase the sleep, then it gets pulled away from us. So we need to make peace with, maybe we can't sleep at the moment, maybe we're having some rough nights, maybe having rough nights for a long time and getting used to that. You know, and then the more comfortable you get with the symptoms and stopping trying to chase sleep, then the sleep comes back. But when we're trying to pull it back in all the time, that's when it then pulls away. It's like anything with anxiety, that when you're trying to really resist it, then what resists persists. And it's very much a case of that. I'm not going to answer all the questions on here because there's quite a lot of questions coming in today, but I am sort of doing the main ones. How does exercise help with recovery? Well, exercise lifts your mood, but it won't get rid of anxiety that's designed to fight to keep you protected against something happening, but it will certainly help lift your mood. So it's a great part of healthy life structure that we encourage, as along with all the other things, healthy eating, going to bed and getting up at certain normal times, not spending all day in bed, all different things that we can do to help our day-to-day life structure to give us a boost. But you can't outrun OCD. Is it possible to recover without medication? Yes, I did. I never took meds. But meds are designed to help take the edge off, but do not lead to recovery on their own. You won't get a perfect medication concoction, cocktail that will lead to OCD recovery. Help take the edge off, and a lot in some people and less in others, but not OCD recovery. I have HOCD and read a post about a gay club and thought, what if I would really like being there? What is the best way to approach this? Well, you need to look at the belief of why would it be so bad if you were gay, and breaking that all down and the irrational beliefs attached to that. That's what we'd be looking at. Why it's so scary to be gay? Why would that be so terrible? And breaking that down. Can you please address sensory OCD? I'm using mindfulness, but I've read different ways on how to approach. You're talking about sensory motor OCD. Mindfulness for sensory motor OCD is not the best because it's taking you internalized into your head. So with sensory motor OCD, you want to be external, living, functioning with all the things around you, so that it's a healthy distraction, showing you can live life as well as exposing yourself to the feelings of them and not trying to run. But if you put yourself internal all day long, then it very much keeps that cycle going. So I wouldn't encourage that. To feel them and go into your head a bit, so you can feel and expose to them, yes, but not all the time. You want to be external, living life and bring them for the ride. Does talking to someone about OCD who doesn't understand OCD help? Not if you're trying to use them to get you better, but as a supportive friend, yes, but you don't want to get away from confessing too much, because that's an endless cycle, so you don't want to be talking about your OCD all day long. Can you do a live on HOCD? Yes, I'll definitely do that. I've had less anxiety and good recovery going on, but yesterday I collapsed. What would boost me to help me keep going? Well, you've been doing well so far. Just a little slip up doesn't mean square one. The fact you've had a slip up, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. Just about getting back on and going with things, and the fact that you've improved is good, and you just have to keep moving with that. The journey for recovery for me was like that all the way along. You never see a journey like that. It's absolute nonsense. You'll always have it like this. Some of your best days followed by your worst days, and vice versa. Okay, guys, I think I'm just going to leave it there. Covered quite a bit there, and I've got quite a few things to get on with today, but I'm doing a lot of Instagram live, so you'll see me a lot on here with loads of questions and answers sessions, and ones on specific OCD, trying to get on here a lot more. I'm putting this all together for our Facebook Watch channel and for the YouTube channel. Any videos that you haven't seen on here, a lot of them are on the Facebook Watch. So if you just go to my Facebook page, click on videos, you'll see all the videos there. And I've got about 100 plus archived videos from Instagram Lives that are all being uploaded to there over the next couple of months. Guys, thank you very much for tuning into this today, and I will see you on the next Instagram Live.